The stars twinkled in the darkness of space as the research vessel Stargazer moved through the Cygnus constellation. It was Earth's most advanced exploration ship, built to find new worlds and make contact with alien life. Captain Susan Miller stood on the bridge, her blue uniform neat and tidy as always. She watched the main screen with careful eyes. "Any new readings, Pete?" she asked the young man at the scanner station. Pete Johnson looked up from his screen. "Yes, Captain. I'm picking up signals from the fourth planet in this system. They don't match any known patterns." Susan nodded. This was why they were here, to find the unknown. "Send a standard greeting message. Let's see if anyone answers." The crew worked with quick, practiced moves. They had done this many times before on other planets. Usually they found nothing. Sometimes they found simple life forms. But they had never found advanced aliens who could talk back. Bill Carter stood at his security station, watching the screens. He was tall and strong with short brown hair. Before joining the Stargazer, he had been a champion fighter back on Earth. His body was special. He had bones that were harder than normal, and muscles that worked better than most people's. Doctors had studied him for years, trying to understand why. "Captain, something is happening," said Nancy White, the communication officer. Her voice was tense. "We're getting a response, but it's not friendly. I think it's a warning." Before Susan could answer, the ship shook hard. Red lights flashed and alarms screamed. "We're under attack," Pete shouted. "3 ships coming in fast?" Susan grabbed her chair as the ship shook again. "Shields up. Turn us around. Get us out." Of here, the crew moved fast, but the alien ships were faster. They were dark and sharp, like claws reaching through space. They surrounded the Stargazer, firing weapons that cut through the Earthship's defenses. "Who are they?" Susan asked as smoke filled the bridge. Nancy checked her screen. "They call themselves the Krondar. They say we entered their space without permission. They say we are now their property." Bill moved to the captains. Sighed. "We need to fight back." Susan shook her head. "Look at their ships. They're too strong. We need to save who we can." She pressed a button on her chair. "All crew, this is the captain. Get to the escape pods now. This is not a drill. Repeat. Get to the escape pods." The ship shook again, harder this time. Parts of the ceiling fell down. The lights went out, then came back dim and red. "Captain, they're boarding us." Bill pointed to a screen showing strange figures cutting through a door on the lower deck. Susan looked at her crew. "Pete, Nancy, get to the pods. Make sure Earth knows what happened here. Bill, help me slow them down." Pete and Nancy ran from the bridge. Bill grabbed a weapon from the security locker and followed Susan down the hall. They could hear noises below, heavy steps and strange voices. "What's the plan?" Bill asked. "We buy time," Susan said. "The pods need 3 minutes to launch." They reached a junction and set up behind some fallen metal. Soon they saw the first aliens. The Krondar were tall and strong, with gray-green skin and armor that seemed to grow from their bodies. They carried weapons that glowed with strange energy. Bill and Susan fired their guns. 2 Krondar fell, but more came. Their return fire hit the wall near Bill's head. "There are too many." Susan shouted, "Fall back." They ran down another hall, the Krondar close behind. An explosion knocked them off their feet. When Bill looked up, he saw Susan trapped under a fallen beam. "Go," she ordered. "Get to the pods." "Not without you," Bill said, trying to lift the beam. "That's an order, Lieutenant." Susan pushed him away with her free hand. "Someone needs to tell Earth what happened." "Go now." Bill hesitated, then nodded. "I'll come back for you. I promise." He ran through the smoke, hearing the Krondar getting closer. He reached the pod bay, but it was too late. The last pod was just launching. Through the small window, he saw Pete's worried face. Bill turned to find another way out, but the Krondar were there. 10 of them, weapons pointed at him. Behind them walked a larger alien with more complex armor and a cape made of something that looked like metal cloth. "This one fought well," said the leader in a strange, rough voice. "Put him with the others." Rough hands grabbed Bill. He fought back, his special strength letting him throw one Krondar against a wall, but there were too many. Something hit his head, and the world went dark. When Bill woke up, he was in a small cell with walls that seemed to be made of living metal. 4 other humans from the ship were there too, all looking scared. "Where are we?" Bill asked, rubbing his sore head. "On their main ship," said Frank. "Lee, one of the engineers. They took about 20 of us. The rest either escaped or died." Bill went to the clear front wall of the cell. Beyond, it was a large room with more cells. Some held humans. Others held strange creatures Bill had never seen before. A large Krondar walked by, stopping to look at the humans. Bill noticed something following the alien. A huge beast walking on 4 thick legs. It had armor like the Krondar, but was clearly not the same species. Its head had no eyes that Bill could see, just sensing organs and a mouth full of sharp teeth. "What is that thing?" Bill whispered. "They call it a war beast," Frank said. "It's what they use to fight their battles." I heard the guards talking. The Krondar have conquered dozens of worlds using those things. The Krondar leader from before approached their cell. He studied the humans with cold eyes. "I am Supreme Commander Vrax of the Krondar Empire," he said. "Your species is unknown to us. Before we add your world to our territory, we will learn about you." "Our people will fight back," Bill said, standing tall. Vrax made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Many have tried. All have failed against our war beasts. They are the perfect killing machines, created from our own ancestral stock, but improved through generations of design." He pointed at Bill. "You showed some fight. You will be tested first in the arena. If you provide good sport, your death will be honorable." "And if I win?" Bill asked. All the Krondar in the room made the laughing sound. "None win against the war beasts," Vrax said. "But your spirit is noted. Rest now. Tomorrow, you meet your fate." As Vrax walked away, Bill looked at his fellow prisoners. Some were crying. Some looked empty inside. But Bill felt something different, a cool determination. "Captain Miller got away on one of the pods," he told them quietly. "She'll bring help. We just need to stay alive until then." Frank shook his head. "You saw those things. How can we fight them?" Bill watched as another war beast walked by, this one even bigger than the first. "Everything has a weakness," he said. "We just need to find it." In the darkness of space, the escape pods from the Stargazer raced toward Earth. In the lead pod, Susan Miller clutched her injured side and looked at the stars behind her. "Hold on, Bill," she whispered. "I'm coming back for you. I promise." Bill Carter woke up on the cold floor of his cell. It was the 3rd day since the Krondar had captured him, and the other humans from the Stargazer. His body hurt from sleeping on the hard surface, but he forced himself to do push-ups and stretches every morning. He knew he would need his strength. The other prisoners watched him exercise. Most had given up hope, but not Bill. He had been studying the Krondar through the clear wall of their cell. He noticed how they moved, how they spoke to each other, and especially how they treated their war beasts. "Why bother?" asked Frank, watching Bill do his last set of push-ups. "They're just going to kill us anyway." "Maybe," Bill said, standing up, "but I plan to make it hard for them." A loud sound rang through the prison area. The clear front wall of their cell slid open, and 4 Krondar guards stood there with their weapons ready. "It is time," said the lead guard. "Come with us now." The humans were led through long hallways. The walls looked like they were alive, with patterns that moved slowly across the surface. They passed other aliens in chains, prisoners from worlds the Krondar had already conquered. Finally, they reached a massive door. When it opened, bright light poured in, and Bill heard a roar of voices. They were led into a huge arena with high walls and thousands of Krondar watching from seats all around. Supreme Commander Vrax sat on a raised platform. He stood when the humans entered. "Today we test these new creatures," his voice boomed across the arena. "Let us see if they are worthy opponents or mere prey for our youngest war beasts." The crowd roared with excitement. Bill looked around and saw several small doors in the arena walls. He guessed that's where the war beasts would come from. The guards pushed a woman named Linda forward first. She was a scientist from the Stargazer, not a fighter. She stood in the middle of the arena, shaking with fear. One of the small doors opened. A war beast came out, smaller than the ones Bill had seen before, but still bigger than a large Earth. Dog. It had no eyes, just sensors on its armored head. Its mouth was full of sharp teeth, and its 6 legs ended in claws. Linda tried to run, but the beast was too fast. The crowd cheered as it caught her. Bill turned away, unable to watch. One by one, the humans were sent into the arena. None lasted more than a few minutes against even these young war beasts. Each time, Bill studied the creatures, looking for any weakness. Finally, it was his turn. The guards pushed him forward into the center of the arena. The sand under his feet was stained dark in many places. He tried not to think about what that meant. "This one showed some fight when we captured him," Vrax announced. "Perhaps he will last longer than the others." A door opened, and a war beast came out. It was bigger than the ones before, with thicker armor. It sniffed the air, sensing Bill, then charged straight at him. Bill waited until the last second, then jumped to the side. The beast ran past him, then turned quickly for another attack. This time, Bill noticed something. When the beast turned, it exposed a small gap in its armor near its neck. The beast charged again. Bill dodged again, but this time he was ready. As the creature passed, he struck hard at the gap in its armor. The beast made a high sound of pain and stumbled. The crowd went quiet. This had never happened before. The war beast was angry now. It circled Bill more carefully. It lunged forward, trying to grab him with its claws. Bill ducked under the attack and hit the weak spot again, harder this time. The beast fell to the ground, not dead, but hurt and confused. It tried to get up, but Bill kept hitting the same spot until the creature stopped moving. The arena was completely silent. Then Vrax stood up. "Impressive," he said. "This human has found a weakness in our young war beast's armor. A lucky discovery." He turned to his guards. "Take him back to his cell. Give him food and water. Tomorrow, we will see if his luck continues against a more mature opponent." The guards led Bill back to his cell. This time, he was alone. The other humans were gone. He sat on the floor, his hands shaking now that the fight was over. He had survived, but for how long? Later, a Krondar came with food and water. It was better than what they had given him before, some kind of meat and a sweet drink that gave him energy. "Why are you feeding me better?" Bill asked. The Krondar looked at him. "Commander Vrax wants you strong for tomorrow. A weak enemy is no test for our war beasts." After the guard left, Bill heard a small sound. A machine floated near his cell, a round ball with little arms. It seemed to be cleaning the floor. "Psst," came a voice from the machine. "Can you hear me?" Bill moved closer to the wall. "Who's there?" "My name is Kel," the voice said quietly. "I'm not Krondar. My people were conquered 5 cycles ago. I control this maintenance drone. Why are you talking to me?" Bill asked. "Because you did something no one has done before," Kel said. "You defeated a war beast with your bare hands. Some of us ... some of us think you might be different." "Different how?" "The Krondar have conquered many worlds using their war beasts. They believe nothing can stand against them. But you found a weakness. If others learn of this..." The drone suddenly moved away as a guard walked by. When the guard was gone, it came back. "I cannot talk long," Kel said, "but I will help you if I can. The war beast you face tomorrow will be stronger, with better armor. But all war beasts share one weakness: they cannot see. They sense heat and movement. If you can confuse these senses... double quotes. The drone moved away again as more guards approached. Back on Earth, Susan Miller stood before the United Earth Defense Council. Her side was still bandaged from her injury, but she stood straight and strong. "The Krondar are real, and they're a threat to Earth," she said. "They've conquered dozens of worlds using biological weapons they call war beasts." "And you believe they're coming here next?" asked General Paul Harris. "I know they are," Susan said. "They said as much before they attacked us. We need to prepare." "What about the captured crew members?" asked another council member. Susan's face showed pain that wasn't from her injuries. "We need to try to rescue them, but more importantly, we need to be ready when the Krondar come." "How do we fight these war beasts?" General Harris asked. "I don't know yet," Susan admitted. "But we have someone working on our science vessel who might be able to help. Dr. Alan Grant has been studying the scans we took before the attack." In a lab across the city, Dr. Grant looked at the images of Krondar and their war beasts. Something about their biology was strange, unusual. If he could just figure out what it was, maybe they would have a chance. Maybe they could save Bill and the others before it was too late. Back on the Krondar ship, Bill lay on the floor of his cell, thinking about what Kel had told him. Tomorrow, he would face a stronger war beast. He needed to be ready. "Everything has a weakness," he whispered to himself as he closed his eyes to sleep. "I just need to find it." Bill woke up to the sound of the cleaning drone entering his cell. He stayed still, pretending to be asleep. The drone moved closer. "Listen carefully." Kel's voice came quietly from the machine. "I don't have much time. The war beast you face today is much stronger than yesterday's. Its armor has fewer gaps." Bill opened one eye slightly. "How do I beat it?" "The Krondar and their war beasts come from the same ancestors," Kel explained. "They share certain traits. Their breathing system is different from yours. They have air holes along their sides, under the armor plates." The drone moved away as a guard walked by, then returned a moment later. "If you can block even one of these holes, the beast will struggle to breathe," Kel continued. "It won't kill it, but it might slow it down enough for you to find a better weakness." "Thank you," Bill whispered. "Why are you helping me?" "My people have been slaves for 5 years. Many races suffer under Krondar rule. No one has ever defeated a war beast before. You give us hope." The drone suddenly moved away. "Someone's coming." "Good luck, human." 4 guards came to take Bill to the arena. The crowd was bigger today. Word had spread about the human who defeated a war beast. Supreme Commander Vrax watched from his high seat, his eyes fixed on Bill. "Today, our human fighter faces a mature war beast," Vrax announced. "Yesterday was luck. Today, we will see thee." Natural order restored. A door opened, and a war beast entered the arena. It was twice the size of yesterday's beast, with thicker armor and longer claws. Bill looked for gaps in the armor, but saw none from a distance. The beast charged. Bill dodged, but the creature was faster than it looked. One of its claws caught Bill's arm, cutting deep. Bill felt hot pain as blood ran down to his hand. The crowd cheered. First blood to the war beast got Bill backed away, trying to watch how the beast moved. Now he could see the air holes Kel had mentioned, small openings along the beast's sides, partly covered by armor. But they were well protected. He would need to get very close to reach them. The beast charged again. This time, instead of dodging away, Bill dodged toward the beast, rolling under its body. He reached up and pressed his hand hard against one of the air holes. The beast made a strange gasping sound. It stopped moving for a moment, confused. Bill pressed harder, then quickly rolled away before the beast could recover. Now the war beast moved more slowly. It was having trouble breathing. It still came after Bill, but he could stay ahead of it more easily. Bill noticed something else. When the beast was breathing hard, gaps appeared between its armor plates. He waited for the right moment and struck at one of these gaps. War Beast roared in pain. It tried to turn and bite Bill, but he was already moving to another position. Again and again, he struck at the gaps that appeared when the beast breathed. Finally, the war beast collapsed. It wasn't dead, but it couldn't fight anymore. The arena was completely silent. Vrax stood up, his face showing both anger and interest. Remarkable. This human has defeated 2 war beasts. This has never happened before. He turned to his scientists. Study him. I want to know what makes this human different. Why can he defeat our war beasts when entire armies from other worlds have failed? The guards took Bill back to his cell. This time, a Krondar doctor came with them to treat his injured arm. The Supreme Commander wants you healthy, the doctor said as he applied medicine to the wound. He has special plans for you now. What plans? Bill asked. The doctor didn't answer. After he left, Bill sat alone in his cell, thinking about what he had learned. The war beasts were strong, but they had weaknesses. If he could just stay alive long enough, maybe he could find a way to escape. On Earth, Dr. Alan Grant rushed into Captain Susan Miller's office. His eyes were wide with excitement. Found something, he said, putting a tablet computer on her desk. Look at these scans of the Krondar ship. See this energy pattern? It's a communication signal, but it's very weak. Susan looked at the screen. What does it mean? It means some of our people might still be alive on that ship, Alan said. And if we can boost this signal, we might be able to talk to them. Susan felt hope for the first time in days. Can you do it? Alan nodded. I think so. But we need to get closer to the Krondar ship first. Susan turned to her computer and pressed a button. General Harris, this is Captain Miller. We have a lead on our missing crew. Request permission to take a fast scout ship back to Krondar. Space. Permission granted, the general's voice replied. But be careful, Captain. We can't afford to lose more people. Susan looked at Alan. Get your equipment ready. We leave in 2 hours. Back on the Krondar ship, Bill was taken to a laboratory. Krondar scientists attached sensors to his body and took samples of his blood. They seemed very interested in his muscles and bones. Subject shows unusual bone density, one scientist said to another. And his muscle efficiency is unlike any species we've encountered. Supreme Commander Vrax entered the lab. What have you learned? This human has natural advantages, the scientist explained. His bones are harder to break. His muscles use energy more efficiently. He also seems to think differently in combat. He finds weaknesses quickly. Vrax looked at Bill with new interest. Could all humans be like this? Unknown, the scientist said. We need more specimens to study. Then we will get more, Vrax decided. Prepare a ship to go to the human world. I want more subjects like this one. Bill tried to hide his fear. They were planning to attack Earth, to take more humans for their tests and games. He had to warn his people somehow. That night, the cleaning drone returned to Bill's cell. They plan to attack your world, Kel whispered through the drone. I know, Bill said. I need to contact my people, warn them. It may be possible, Kel said. I have access to communication systems through maintenance drones, but the risk is very high. I have to try, Bill insisted. And I need to know more about these war beasts. The one I face tomorrow will be even stronger, won't it? Yes, Kel said. They are bringing an elite war beast. Few have ever seen one and lived, but I will try to find information that might help you. The drone suddenly made a strange noise. Someone is checking the drone network. I must go. It quickly left the cell. Bill lay back on the floor, thinking about Earth, about his friends on the Stargazer, about Captain Miller. Were they looking for him? Did they know the danger coming their way? He closed his eyes. Tomorrow would bring an even harder fight. He needed to rest, to be ready. The lives of everyone on Earth might depend on what he learned about the Krondar and their war beasts. As he drifted to sleep, he made a promise to himself. No matter what kind of monster they put him against, he would find a way to win. He would survive, and somehow he would stop the Krondar from reaching Earth. A week had passed since Bill's first fight in the arena. Each day, he had faced a stronger war beast. Each day, he had found a way to win. The Krondar were amazed and angry. No one had ever survived so many fights. Bill sat in his cell, his body covered in cuts and bruises. The Krondar doctors treated his worst injuries after each fight, but they left enough pain to remind him of his place. He was still just a prisoner to them, a test subject. The cleaning drone entered his cell. Good news. Kel's voice came from the small machine. Your people are coming. A small Earthship has been detected near the edge of Krondar space. Bill felt hope rise in his chest. Captain Miller. She kept her promise. There's more news, Kel continued. But it's not good. Tomorrow, you face the Alpha War Beast. What's that? Bill asked, though he already guessed the answer. The ultimate war beast. The Krondar have only made one. It's bigger, stronger, and smarter than any other. No one has ever defeated it. Entire armies have tried and failed. Bill nodded. Slowly. They want to end this show. I've embarrassed them too many times. Yes, but I have managed to set up a communication link. When your people get close enough, you may be able to talk to them. It will be very brief, though. That's all I need, Bill said. Just a chance to warn them about what's coming. The drone left quickly as guards approached. They took Bill to a new room with a large window looking into space. Supreme Commander Vrax was waiting for him. Tomorrow you die, human, Vrax said without greeting. The Alpha will tear you apart. I've heard that before, Bill replied calmly. Vrax made an angry sound. Your victories have been against lesser beasts. The Alpha is different. It was created from the finest Krondar genetic material. It has never been defeated. He pointed out the window. Look there. Your people come to save you. A single small ship against our fleet. Bill could see a tiny dot moving among the stars. It was too far to tell what kind of ship it was, but he knew Susan Miller would be on it. They will watch you die, Vrax continued. Then we will capture them too. We will learn all about humans before we take your world. Bill said nothing. He needed to stay calm, to save his energy for tomorrow. That night, as Bill tried to sleep, the drone returned one last time. The link is ready, Kel whispered. Your people are close enough now, but you only have 1 minute before the Krondar. Detect the signal. A small screen appeared from the drone, showing Captain Susan Miller's face. She looked tired but determined. "Bill, you're alive," she said. "Not for long if you don't listen carefully," Bill said quickly. "The Krondar are planning to attack Earth. They use living weapons called war beasts." "We know about the war beasts," Susan said. "Dr. Grant has been studying the scans we took. He thinks he's found something important about their breathing system. The air holes along their sides," Bill nodded. "I've been using that weakness. But it's not enough against their strongest beast. I face it tomorrow." Dr. Grant appeared on the screen next to Susan. "Listen carefully. The war beasts have a neural cluster at the base of their neck ridge. It's their main weakness. A strong enough blow there can disrupt their entire nervous system." "How strong?" Bill asked. "Very strong," Dr. Grant admitted. "Stronger than most humans could manage. But with your unusual bone density and muscle efficiency, you might be able to do it." The screen started to break up. "Signal failing," Kel warned. 30 seconds left. "We're coming for you, Bill," Susan said. "Just stay alive one more day. Be careful," Bill warned. "They're expecting you." The screen went dead. The drone quickly left the cell. Bill lay back, thinking about what Dr. Grant had said. The base of the neck ridge. He had seen that part on the other war beasts, but had never targeted it specifically. Tomorrow, against the Alpha, he would have. One chance to hit it with everything he had. The next morning, the arena was packed. Every Krondar on the ship had come to see the human face the Alpha war beast. Bill stood in the center, feeling small. Supreme Commander Vrax smiled coldly from his high seat. "Today we end this unusual contest," Vrax announced. "Today the human faces our greatest creation, the Alpha war beast." A massive door opened at the far end of the arena. The crowd went silent. Even the guards looked nervous. The Alpha war beast stepped into the light. It was 3 times larger than any beast Bill had faced before. Its armor was thicker, its claws longer, its teeth sharper. It had 4 eyes instead of none, glowing with red light. This was no mindless animal. Intelligence shone in those eyes. The beast looked directly at Bill. It seemed to understand exactly what was happening. "The Alpha was created to be the perfect warrior," Vrax explained to the crowd. "It has defeated armies. It has crushed rebellion on a dozen worlds. And now it will end this human's lucky streak." The Alpha charged. Bill had never seen anything so big move so fast. He barely dodged in time, feeling the rush of air as the beast passed. The Alpha turned quickly, showing none of the weaknesses of the lesser beasts. Bill tried to get close to its breathing holes, but the Alpha protected them perfectly. Every time Bill moved, the Alpha countered, almost as if it could read his mind. After 10 minutes of dodging, Bill was getting tired. He had several small cuts from near misses. The Alpha wasn't even breathing hard. Bill remembered what Dr. Grant had said. The neural cluster at the base of the neck ridge. He looked at the beast, trying to find this spot. There a slight bump where the neck met the body, but it was well protected by thick armor plates. The Alpha charged again. This time, instead of dodging away, Bill dodged toward it, rolling under its massive body. He grabbed onto one of its armor plates and held on as the beast tried to shake him off. The crowd gasped. No one had ever been so close to the Alpha, and lived. Bill climbed the beast's side, avoiding its snapping jaws. He reached the back, just behind the head. The Alpha bucked and twisted, trying to throw him off. Bill held on with all his strength. He could see the neural cluster now, a small area where several armor plates met. The gap was tiny, but it was there. Bill made a fist and struck at the spot with all his might. Nothing happened. The armor was too thick. The Alpha reached back with one of its claws, catching Bill's leg. Pain shot through him as the claw dug deep. The beast pulled, trying to drag Bill down where it could finish him. Bill knew he had only one chance left. He focused all his unusual strength into his arm. He thought of Earth, of his friends, of all the worlds suffering under Krondar rule. Then he struck the neural cluster again, putting everything he had into the blow. There was a crack. The Alpha froze. Its body shuddered. Then it let out a terrible roar that shook the entire arena. Bill fell as the beast began to thrash wildly. He hit the ground hard, rolling away as the Alpha's tail smashed the spot where he had landed. The beast was in pain, confused, its movements no longer controlled. Bill stood up, his leg bleeding badly. The Alpha turned toward him, fury in its red eyes. But when it tried to charge, its legs wouldn't work properly. It stumbled, then fell. The arena was completely silent. Every Krondar stared in disbelief. The Alpha War beast, their ultimate weapon, lay twitching on the ground, defeated by a bare-handed human. In orbit above the Krondar ship, Captain Susan Miller watched the fight on a screen. The small Earthship had hacked into the Krondar video feed. He did it, she whispered. He actually did it. Dr. Grant nodded beside her. Now we go get him. Susan turned to her small crew. Prepare for rescue operation and send a message to Earth. Tell them we've found the Krondar's weakness. Tell them we're bringing Bill Carter home. The arena was silent. Bill Carter stood over the fallen Alpha War beast, his leg bleeding, his body covered in cuts and bruises. He had done what no one thought possible. He had defeated the Krondar's ultimate weapon with his bare hands. Supreme. Commander Vrax stood up slowly. His face showed shock and anger. Then, to everyone's surprise, he began to make a strange sound. It took Bill a moment to realize that Krondar was laughing. Remarkable, Vrax said finally. Truly remarkable. In all our conquests, we have never seen such a thing. Guards surrounded Bill, their weapons ready. He was too tired to fight anymore. If they wanted to kill him now, he couldn't stop them. But Vrax raised his hand. No, this human has earned something no other species has ever earned from the Krondar. He has earned our respect. The crowd made confused sounds. This was not what they expected. Krondar law is clear, Vrax continued. Any species that can defeat our champions in fair combat must be respected. It is the oldest law of our people, from the time before we reached the stars. He came down from his high seat and approached Bill, even with Bill's unusual height. Vrax towered over him. Human, you have shown great strength and skill, Vrax said. Tell me your name. Bill Carter, Bill answered, standing as straight as he could despite his injuries. Bill Carter of Earth, Vrax announced to the crowd. The first being to defeat the Alpha War beast in combat. Just then, a loud alarm sounded through the ship. A Krondar officer ran into the arena. Commander, an Earthship has breached our defenses. They have boarded the ship. Vrax turned to Bill. Your people come for you. They are brave like you. Let them take me, Bill said, and promised to leave Earth alone. Before Vrax could answer, the arena doors burst open. Captain Susan Miller led a team of Earth soldiers into the arena. They aimed their weapons at the Krondar guards. Bill, Susan called. Are you all right? I've been better, Bill said with a weak smile. Susan turned her weapon on Vrax. Let him go. Now. You misunderstand the situation, Vrax said calmly. Your friend is not our prisoner anymore. He has earned our respect. Susan looked confused. What are you talking about? He defeated our greatest war beast, Vrax explained. According to our oldest laws, this changes everything. Suddenly, more Krondar ships appeared on the large screens around the arena. Dozens of them, all heading toward the Krondar mothership. Our fleet returns from the outer systems, Vrax said. Your small ship and few soldiers cannot hope to fight them all. Then we'll die trying, Susan said, her finger tight on the trigger. Or, Vrax said, we could talk instead. Bill stepped forward, wincing from the pain in his leg. Listen to him, Susan. Something important is happening here. In a private room later, Vrax met with Bill, Susan, and Dr. Grant, Krondar doctors. Had treated Bill's wounds properly this time. For 10,000 years, the Krondar have conquered other worlds, Vrax explained. We believed we were the strongest species in the galaxy. Our war beasts proved this again and again. Until today, Bill said. Until today, Vrax agreed. You have shown us something we never expected. Not just physical strength, but adaptability, intelligence in combat, the ability to find and exploit weaknesses. So what happens now? Susan asked. I offer a pact, Vrax said. The Krondar will not attack Earth. In return, we ask to learn from humans, not as conquerors, but as ... equals. Bill, Susan, and Dr. Grant looked at each other in surprise. Why? Should we trust you? Susan asked. Because our law demands it, Vrax said. The law that has guided us since before we had technology. The strong respect the strong. Bill Carter proved humans are strong. To break this law would destroy the very foundation of Krondar society. Dr. Grant leaned forward. What about the other worlds you've conquered? The people you've enslaved? Vrax was quiet for a moment. This is a complicated question. Our entire empire is built on conquest. But perhaps there are other ways to be strong. A week later, Bill stood on the bridge of the Earthship Defender. His wounds were healing well. Through the window, he could see the massive Krondar mothership. The United Earth Council has agreed to the pact, Susan told him. No war between humans and Krondar. Instead, cultural and scientific exchange. And the other worlds under Krondar rule? Bill asked. That's where you come in, Susan said. They want you to be the first human ambassador to the Krondar, to help them find a new way forward. Bill looked surprised. Me? I'm a security officer, not a diplomat. You're the man who defeated the Alpha War Beast with his bare hands, Susan reminded him. To the Krondar, that makes you someone worth listening to. A small ship approached the Defender. When it docked, Kel stepped out. It was the first time Bill had seen his friend in person. Kel was small, with blue skin and large eyes. The representatives from other worlds have arrived, Kel said. They all want to meet the human who changed everything. Bill walked with Kel to the meeting room. Representatives from a dozen conquered worlds sat around a large table. They all looked at Bill with hope in their eyes. I'm not sure what to say to them, Bill whispered to Kel. Tell them what you showed the Krondar, Kel suggested. That strength comes in many forms. That even the ultimate war beast can be defeated if you find the right approach. Bill took a deep breath and stepped forward. My name is Bill Carter. I'm from Earth. A week ago, I was just a prisoner fighting to stay alive. Now I'm here to help build something new. One of the representatives spoke up. The Krondar have ruled us through fear of their war beasts for generations. How can we believe anything will change? Because they discovered something they value. More than conquest, Bill said. Respect. For the first time, they met a species that earned their respect through their own rules. That opened a door that was closed for 10,000 years. As Bill spoke, Supreme Commander Vrax entered the room. The representatives fell silent, some showing fear. The human speaks truth, Vrax said. The Krondar must change. It will not be easy. It will not be quick. But it must happen. He turned to Bill. We have begun a program to teach young Krondar a new way of thinking. Would you help us with this? Bill nodded. I will. 6 months later, Bill stood in a large room on the Krondar homeworld. Young Krondar sat in a circle around him. Next to them sat children from Earth and from other worlds that had once feared the Krondar. Today we learn about strength, Bill told them. Not just the strength of body, but the strength of mind, the strength to change, the strength to make peace instead of war. Outside the window, he could see older Krondar watching. Some still looked doubtful. Change would not come easily to a race that had known only conquest for thousands of years. But as Bill watched the young ones learning together, he felt hope. The ultimate war beast had met its match in a bare-handed human. And in that unlikely victory, a new future had begun. In the fields outside the city, the war beasts still trained. But now they trained to build and protect, not to destroy. Like the Krondar themselves, they were learning a new way to be strong. Bill thought about how strange life was. He had been captured, forced to fight for his life, and somehow ended up changing an entire empire. All because he refused to give up, refused to accept defeat. As the young ones practiced the peaceful exercises he taught them, Bill smiled. This was a different kind of victory, a better kind, and in many ways, a harder one to achieve. But as Captain Miller had told him before returning to Earth, some battles are won with fists. Others are won with words and ideas. The second kind last longer. Bill Carter, once a security officer, now an ambassador, agreed. This was a battle worth fighting, a victory worth winning, a future worth building, one day at a time.